And I'm happy to be here talking with you guys.
Awesome. Welcome, Vitor. Who's next? Who wants to go next?
I'll go next if you want to go in the order of what I see.
It's not my order, but it works.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm Gregory. You just said hello to everybody when I came in, and I'm from Minneapolis, St. Paul chapter. I unfortunately won't make it this year to the global conference, but I'll be there next year. I was there last year, but I just can't because I'm launching a startup right now, and it's taken everything from me. But other than that, I'm enjoying the cold weather. I've been in Startup Grind as a chapter director since July of 2017. So.
And you oversee 2 chapters.
Yeah, now I oversee 2. It started off in city of St. Paul, and now I'm doing Minneapolis. So they're the twin cities, so it makes sense, right?
Awesome. Thanks, Gregory.
Yep.
Anybody else want to go next?
Sure, I'm Jorge Cruz. I'm the director for the Fresno State University chapter. It's been a long ride. I'm right now grooming my assistant director. And so I do plan to be at the Global. Hold on, let me pause this. My radio just went off here. Hold on. Thank you. And so, hello, everyone.
Hello and welcome. Glad
Thank
to
you.
be at the Global. I'm glad the Fresno State chapter is revamping. That's awesome.
Yes. It's been quite challenging. I don't know if anyone knows anything about the Central Valley. This is an agricultural country, a very small, there are only 2 industries, and that's agriculture and the health. Getting anyone to talk about technology is about 2.5 hours away. Believe me, it's quite challenging. But nevertheless, it's been a love. The adventure's been a love for it.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jorge. Who wants to go next? We're just doing intros if you're just hopping on.
Sure. David Stengel. I run the Princeton chapter. This is my 5th year running the chapter and my 5th year going global.
Awesome, David. That might be one of our records on this call. You might be one of our longest directors on the call.
Yeah.
Well done. Welcome. Okay, then I saw Rafael. You were going next, Rafa?
Hi, this is Rafael from Chile, from Santiago.
Welcome. Hola.
35 degrees Celsius here.
I feel you, Rafael. I feel you.
You know what, guys?
Hey, don't rub it in. It's minus 10 degrees here.
That's like springtime there, Chris.
Hey, Gregory, compared, yeah, it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, for real.
It was 32 yesterday minus. Today it's 28 minus.
All right, April, we can hear you. And you want to introduce yourself?
All right, hello everyone. I'm April Jefferson. I am the director of Hampton Roads. Just started in December. We just had our first event Monday, actually.
Nice.
And it went well. I was really excited about that. Hey everyone.
I'm going to a better lit area, so bear with me.
Sounds good, Jorge. I'm going to mute you for now. Okay, so Matt and April, Matthew Carroll, April Jefferson, you guys should know each other also because you're both in Virginia. So maybe sometime you could connect or find speakers together that you could share. Good for you guys to know each other. But Matt, why don't you go next?
Yeah, I am Matt Carroll. I'm in Richmond, Virginia, and we have our first Startup Grind booked for March 5th. And yeah, excited to get going.
Awesome. Welcome. Anybody else want to hop on?
Well, this is LaSalle.
This is Jessica.
Oh, go ahead, Jessica.
All right. So this is Jessica. I am the director for Startup Grind here in Orange County, Irvine now. So I've been a director for like a little bit over a year. And I unfortunately won't be able to go to Global. It's my 10-year wedding anniversary, so I'm totally jealous that you get to go. I try to convince my husband to let me go, but he's like, nah, I don't think so. Hopefully I'll be able to go next year. But yeah.
Yeah, well, congrats on 10 years. That's a hell of an accomplishment.
Thank you.
And I know TJ and Ash, your co-directors, they'll be there too. They'll be at Global.
Correct. Yep, they'll both be at Global.
Awesome.
Hi there.
Patrice, you up next?
Yeah. How are you? How's everybody doing today?
Good.
So I'm super psyched as I enter my 6th year as a Startup Grind director, which is pretty awesome. And I don't know what you guys. I couldn't hear before, so I don't know what you guys were kind of sharing.
We're just doing a brief intro. Who you are, what chapter you're from.
Oh, okay. So I'm Patrice Perkins, and I am the director of the Albany, New York Startup Grind chapter.
Welcome, Patrice. So Patrice is our longest standing director on the call. She's got you beat, David.
Wow. Maybe I'm the newest one as a co-director.
You might. I mean, there's so many newbies on this call. There's a lot of you guys that are new. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Whoever said it, just go for it. I don't know. I can't.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Luis, I see you.
Hi. I'm Luis Martinez. I'm Startup Grind Director for San Diego. So just started. We probably have our first event in March. Finally put together and ready to rock and roll. So I'm excited for Global, see what happens with that. And yeah.
Awesome. Welcome.
Very cool.
I'm gonna go next, I guess. Yes, so also new. I just had my first event last Thursday, and I'm booked for the next one. I'm the chapter director for the Palm Beaches, Florida.
Yeah, Palm Beach. I bet it's nice and warm there.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not sure if you can hear Darren. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
we see you. We can hear you. We can see you, Darren.
All right. This is Mike Peterson.
Hi.
Mike is my soon-to-be co-director. We just have to go through the application process, but I'm fairly certain he'll be fine. We are in Cedar Park, Texas. That's a suburb of Austin. And, actually, I'm going to be at Global, or I'm going to be at Global, and very excited about that. And our first chapter event is going to be at the end of February. And then we're having who is former banker from Asia and all over the world in New York, started his career there, and we're pretty excited about him. And Mike's working on a speaker for blockchain. He teaches a class on blockchain at UT right now, so hoping to leverage that. So we're pretty excited.
Very cool. Sounds like you got some good things coming up in Texas.
Yep, we're excited.
Cool. All right, we got Henry, we got Chris, we got Jim. Who else? We got Dan, Eric, Natalie. I know you're there because I just saw you a minute ago. That video's finally working. And Rocio, who wants to go next?
I can go. This is Dan. I apologize. I had a phone call that ran long. We're just doing quick introductions right now, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Dan. I'm the director for Prince William County and the co-director for Fairfax County. I'm excited. This is still fairly new territory for me in general, but the community is growing and we're having a great time over here. I am missing out on the warm weather in Florida and Texas, so thanks for rubbing that in. But Patrice, you're in the same boat, I know.
Yes. We've got major Arctic winds and a lot of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
It's good for the soul. A little bit of cold, freezing weather, right? Awesome. Welcome, Dan. We got a few more people left, and then we'll get started with what's up from headquarters. Liam, what's up with Liam? You just had your first event in Ottawa, Canada. Tell us about it.
Hello, guys. I'm Liam from Ottawa. Yeah, I had my first event last week. It was amazing. We had some very, very good vibes, and people really had fun, so that was awesome. I'm also booked for our next event, so I have the speaker and the venue confirmed. So it's all like
lining it up. That's the key, lining them up.
That reminds me, sorry, this is Dan. I just want to add that next month we have a legit rock star is going to be one of our speakers, which is, I think it's pretty cool. So,
what kind of rock star are we talking about?
Yeah, he's Brett Michaels' lead guitarist. He also owns a candle shop here that's been quite successful.
All right.
Shining Soul Candle Company. So the three founders, and so working on how I'm going to tie that together well. But we have an eclectic audience here. I think both sides of that story will fit amazingly.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Hey, Candace, can I ask you a question? I don't know if it's time for questions.
Maybe we could just hold a quick
Okay.
bit, just introduce everybody else, and then let's shoot on questions for sure. If you haven't spoke yet, you know we're coming to you. You know you're going to introduce yourself. Rocio, go for it.
I was like, I'm waiting. Hi guys, this is Rocio from Mexico. I leader of the Startup Brand U director of Ironhack here in Mexico. We are hosting our first event in February 18th. So wish us luck. We already have the place and we are like confirming our founder. I don't know how else to say. I'm super excited to know each one of you in this meeting. So, hi from Mexico.
Hola. Awesome. Natalie, we got to hear from you, man. What's up in Trinidad?
Hi, well, it's hot and sunny in Trinidad at the moment. And tomorrow I'm actually hosting my first event. So I'm all in preparation for tomorrow.
Your first event's tomorrow? It's really hard to hear you.
Yeah, my first event is for tomorrow.
Awesome. Good luck.
Yeah. So other than that, all is well.
And did we just hear a rooster in the background?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes, and it's sunny outside, and I see people are very cold in some places. If I could share the heat, I would.
Thank you. We're getting the warm vibes just from your Zoom
Yes.
call. Well, good luck tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Henry, Chris, Eric, Andre.
Okay, I'll go first.
What's up, Henry?
So Henry here from Vancouver, Canada. We're just getting an event ready for AR, VR. One of the main trends outside of San Francisco is AR, VR here in the Vancouver area. So we've been chasing the speaker down for some time. The times didn't work, so someone took over the venue, but we're just working around times right now.
Cool. Good luck. And I know we'll see you at Global in a few weeks.
Yes, we'll be there.
Thanks. All right, Chris, you want to go for it?
I'm Chris Haug. I'm the Columbia Mid-Maryland Chapter Director, and I'm also the co-director of the Frederick, Maryland Chapter. And we'll be at Global. And what else do you want to know?
That's good. That's good for now. That's good for now. Okay, cool. Eric, talk to us.
What's going on, guys? I'm Eric, and I'm the Lexington, Kentucky chapter director. We've had a couple good events. To recap 2018, and I'm actually bringing on another co-director, and we've got some things in the works. We met yesterday. We're planning on a really big event in March, and I'll introduce you to the new co-director. She's actually going to be coming out to Global, and I might be moving down to Fort Lauderdale in the near future. I see LaSalle is. I've already been in contact with. Potentially going down there and collaborating. So.
Cool.
So it could be exciting. So we'll work out some ideas, but I'm in the works of passing everything off to new co-directors, and I can't wait to see everybody down at Global. It's like 2 weeks away, so really stoked about that.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. And Alice is right in Palm Beach, so not far.
Okay, perfect. We'll have to collaborate for sure.
Okay, so we've got Kenneth. Kenneth, are you there? Or Andre?
Yeah. Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Kenneth. I'm director for San Jose State University. We're actually in the Bay Area, nearby the Global Conference. So we have a party tomorrow because our semester just got started. We're pretty excited. We are also collaborating with some Ideas Lab and Google Innovator on campus. So hopefully we'll try to bring in more encourage more students into entrepreneurship, right?
Love it. Awesome. Thanks, Candace. And last but not least, Andres, are you there? Yeah, what's up?
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Andres Sanchez. I'm the founder, the chapter director of Startup Grind Manta. And we already had our first event on the launch in January 18. It was a complete success. We had like a 78, almost 80 people assistance, and it was great. A lot of local partners were interested in be part of, and we're really happy to be here and to be part of the Startup Grind.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Andres. From Ecuador, if you guys don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody good? Everybody introduce yourself. Did I miss anyone?
I just wanted to add in real quick before you get in. I started to, but Jim Gunther from New Orleans, brand new at this. We have our first event coming up February the 19th. And the coolest thing to me is I've had all of our startup incubators in the city are interested in going to the global conference. And I'm hoping that a couple of them are going to make it. It was kind of a late start for us, but there's so much interest in this. Everybody's loving Startup Grind that I've talked to in the city. So
awesome.
Great experience so far.
Great to hear. Awesome to hear. Okay, guys, well, welcome. So first of all, why do we do all of these office hours calls? For those of you that are new, that this is your first office hours, it's a few things that we want to do here. We want to, one, be creating community between all of our directors. So while you guys are busy creating community where you live, you are now part of this global community. So every face that you see here is, you know, your friends, your fellow directors that are cut from the same cloth as you, that are trying to do the same things in their city. And so if you guys can, like, these are people you can reach out to, get help from, get ideas from. Not only do you have all of us at, you know, the community team to help you, but lots of directors are willing to help and offer advice too. So you are not alone. Hello there. Hi. Do you want to introduce yourself really quick? We just finished up intros. Perfect.
Actually, let me introduce her. She is my co-director at Fresno State University. This is Rafi Santayan. She is the individual that I'm handing off my reins to sometime right after the global. And so I've been looking forward, you Candace, to finally meeting her.
Hey, Rafi. I was going to say, I'm like, I do not recognize this director. That's why we haven't met. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet everybody.
Okay, so first things first, guys. I'm going to mute everybody real quick just because it's a little loud. But if you want to talk, just unmute yourselves. Okay, so probably the biggest thing that's going on right now is the global conference, as you can imagine. The whole headquarters team is like, I would say knee deep, but it's farther than that, neck deep in trying to pull off this giant event. So it's going to be huge this year, our biggest event, our biggest conference yet. 8,000 attendees. We've got 200 startups exhibiting on site. We'll have, I think, around 200 chapter directors. If you have not let me know 100% that you are coming to Global or not, please, please let me know, because we are trying to get those final numbers. And if you still need accommodation and you're coming and you haven't booked it, there are like 5 rooms left at the hotel. So please, please, if you want, you can book that now too. Those are going fast. So yes, everything's getting ready for global. The whole headquarters team, we arrive next Wednesday, the 6th. So we will be there about a week early getting everything set up in Redwood City. It's going to be a really amazing event, guys. 5 stages, 300 speakers, some really kick-ass speakers this year. And then, of course, the 2 days after the conference, we've got our Director Summit. So for those of you that can't make the conference or the Director Summit, we will be live streaming the Director Summit. So there's going to be a number of different panel discussions, quick fire pitches from directors, from the community team, from the Bevy team. So you'll get to meet the Bevy team, and Bevy's the dashboard that all of you guys get to use to, you know, upload your events. A great time to ask those guys questions about, you know, when things aren't working, you know who's behind it now. And then, you know, lots of great insight on everything from, you know, how to get sponsors. We really appreciate your guys' feedback on the survey because that's been helping us guide what we talk about. And we heard loud and clear that sponsors is a big issue for our directors. So we'll definitely be focusing a lot of time on sponsorship, a lot of time on marketing, how, different marketing hacks, how to do event promotion, audience engagement, both during the event, in between events. I think we're just going to have a really awesome lineup, different event formats that you guys can experiment with, and how to take your chapter to the next level. So there'll be some really great content those 2 days that will be live streamed for those of you that can't attend. But I just want to highlight that one more time. Our survey, I'll put it in the chat here. If you haven't filled out the survey, it is going to be still open for the rest of the day. So it closes at the end of the day. I think we've had like 200 responses, which is really great. Thank you so much. Who has not filled out the survey? Okay. I appreciate your honesty. You totally could have lied. So if you have time, it'd be really cool if you could fill it out. It takes like 5 to 10 minutes. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay. So in terms of global, if you guys, for everybody that is coming, or any questions or thoughts about the survey before I move on? Gregory, yeah.
Not about the survey, but you mentioned about there's last minute hotel rooms. So I didn't want to mention it now because I'm not sure how long the process will take for application. I do have a potential co-director. Her name is Michaela. She attended one of my events, and she liked the event so much. She reached out to me, and she said she really would like to be part of the startup community here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. And I'm meeting her for coffee tomorrow to try to get to know her and see if she'd be a good fit and everything. If she is it kind of last minute to get her out there, or because you guys are all going to be there on Wednesday next week, if she would fill out the application, would that happen pretty fast, or should we wait for next conference? I don't want to offer her to go to, I'll still offer her to go to a conference maybe just to get a free ticket and in my places represent, but other than that.
Here's what I would say. We don't have time to interview her. We're stopping all interviews for basically the rest of the month.
Yeah, makes sense.
But certainly if she can make it to the conference, certainly let me know. We can at least get her the free ticket for sure, and then have her come to the director, see if we can get her on the director summit.
Excellent, thank you. I'm excited to have her reach out and actually want to be part of it. So makes me feel good. I could use the help too. All right.
Great, right?
Thank you.
I'd like to share some news from Brazil. I spoke with the other directors from Brazil, Felipe from Brasilia and Pamela from Araraquara. And they couldn't attend. They asked me to send my their greetings to you guys. So greeting given. And also they said that me and then we will not be able to go to the global because of the lack of funds. We are having a little bit shaky economy so far, but we intended to go next year. But me and Pamela, we started to have some daydreams like about having a Brazil conference, something like that. Maybe later on it would be interesting, me, you, and other who are interested. And maybe I know that there's the European access, we have the global access, and also we have the Latin America or the Brazilian access. I don't know yet. It would be interesting to have this idea in mind.
Yeah, so that's a really great question. So at Startup Grind headquarters, we put on 2 conferences a year. There's the global conference every year in Silicon Valley. That's in 2 weeks. And then we have not at the same level, about half of the level of the global is our Europe conference in June in London every year. So those are the main ones that we put on. But then what we've launched over the past few years are regional conferences. And so these have kind of taken off. You have to apply. You apply to host a regional conference, and I can send you guys the link for that. And then you have to get approval from headquarters as to whether you can put that on. So last year we had the Mexico City conference in March, and Pablo, our chapter director in Mexico City, he's having another one in April. So for those of us in this region of the world, that's finally one that's a regional conference in our region. So that's happening in April. Barcelona is another one. They'll be having their 3rd regional conference. They just had one in November. They're going to have another one in April also. And then we had one in Toronto last year. I don't think they're doing one this year. We've had Casablanca in Morocco last year, and also Melbourne, Australia. So if you are interested in putting on a regional conference, either with your chapter or partnering with people and chapters around you, you certainly can do it. It just is an application process, and then we can move forward from there.
Sweet.
It's a great question. And to add to that, we're going to be doing a whole panel discussion on regional conferences during the Director Summit. So that'll be on Thursday, the first day of the Director Summit, Thursday, late morning Pacific time. So that might be one that you guys want to hop into, Vitor.
Maybe I will not be able to be connected online, but I just try to follow at Slack or even emailing you guys.
I'll send you guys the regional conference link, application link.
Thank you.
Any other questions related to this, regional conferences or anything like that?
I have a question.
Go for it, Ava.
Because I kind of looked at that part on, because I think that's on like the website about the regional conference if we wanted to host one here in our area. I think I saw one of the requirements was we had to have like a certain number of attendees per event. Is that
yeah, we'll want to see, we probably wouldn't, and no offense to our new directors, but we probably wouldn't allow you to host one in the beginning. We want to see you getting your chapter up and running first and having that be successful and growing and whatever. And then once we see that like, hey, you can crush a chapter, then we're like, okay, can you host a regional conference? Because the regional conference is a massive undertaking. It's not to be taken lightly. Liam, you had a question a while ago. What was your question?
Yes, I did. It's related to the work plan, the 2019 work plan. So I saw that in April we can host a panel.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I reached out to a speaker in February that I wanted to have him in February, but he said he would only be available in April, and I really want to have him. But I also want to have a panel discussion, and I have ideas for that. Can I host it on March instead?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not set in stone.
Okay, perfect. Awesome.
It's just like an idea, and you have solidarity by doing everybody on the same page. There may be some art assets that come out just for the panel discussions, but if it doesn't work for you, you want to have them a different month, that's totally cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
No worries.
Hello?
Any other Luis?
Yes, I have a question. So besides the chapter directors, how many tickets do we have to give to team members?
For global?
Yes.
So let me send you basically have you have 3, let me get you the ticket one. Everything, first of all, guys, let me just send you this link. All and any questions about global can be found here. global.startupgrind.com. This is just for directors. No attendees get to see this. This is only for directors. Your agenda for the week is there. Everything that you'll need to know about global, including tickets, including the Director Summit, yada, yada, is all at that link. So whenever you have questions, please check that out.
Okay.
First. And then the ticket, I'll just send you this real quick. But basically, at this point, we have more tickets available for you guys than we originally thought. So at first we were saying, each chapter can only give away like 3 friends and family ones for free. And then you could have the ticket giveaway competition, which would give you 10 tickets to give away for free. Since we're so close, there's not really a lot of time left to do a competition for a lot of directors. So if you wanted to just give those out to people, you can. And then we have if there are some people that are VIPs, but you don't want to necessarily give them the free ticket, we have a reduced code that's just $50 for a ticket.
Okay. Is all that all that on the link?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of that's in there.
Okay.
So if you have more, and that's for everybody, if you guys have more people from your cities, your regions that want to come, and you're past the 10, 13, whatever ticket mark, just let us know. We can, with our directors, we can totally expand that for you guys.
Is there a way we can know who signed up because I've given them to, for example, Target, the retailer throughout the U.S. here. So Target has their accelerated program. They're going to offer it also to their founders that they're invested in. And there was a question, is there a limitation? And I told them sign up as long as it still works. But is there, because I've given it to one other person, I keep saying, well, out of this link, only use 2 because I've given 1 here. Or, you know, so
You're going to see like 50 people from Minneapolis. Like, no one's paid for Minneapolis.
No, I've given them the $50 one. So they'll be paid now. They've already bought their tickets, the headquarters from Target, before I even offered the links because I met them after. But yeah, so that's the question. Is there a place where we can see who actually signed up?
Not really.
From our, okay, because it'd be
not really.
And
nice
that would really
to nudge them.
be helpful to see if you offer somebody a ticket when they sign up, right?
Yeah.
Because it does demonstrate interest, and it's important for however you're cultivating the account.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can't, because of GDPR, we can't just share the information, the ticket information of people's emails and whatever.
Well, can we at least just say the company name and how many attendees? It can be vague.
I'm not sure. I'm not
Okay.
sure. Let me ask Judy. Our
Because it's
ticket.
good, like
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure who agreed.
Also,
But
It
yeah.
at least be something to think about for next year, right? Because if you do it through some ticketing system like Bevy, you'd see it, right?
We are using, everything's on Bevy this year.
So then why couldn't we see who signed up?
That's just not publicly available information.
Yeah, but we're not the public.
It still violates GDPR rules. So to date, we've not been able to do that.
Okay.
Because I agree with
Yeah.
David's point, because if we see it on the
Yeah.
email who registers
Right.
for our event.
So if somebody signs up for my chapter, I can see it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You have access to your chapter, but you don't have access to the global. So that's something that we just can't be giving out lists of who our attendees are. What we are working on, what we have heard our directors say in the past, is, hey, we want to know which startups from our cities are coming.
That's what I'm
That-
talking about right there.
We can't do general attendees that you've used for your tickets. I'm sorry, we can't do that yet, but we are working on giving out the list to directors of which startups from your city have been accepted to the startup program, not those startups that are just attending the conference.
Oh, okay. Okay, because the conference attendance would be good too, because then we could follow up to make sure that they attend. If you give them a ticket, and then we can it actually helps with sales, right? So if we can help get them like the $50 here or there, and get them to make sure they sign up, because I just don't know if my efforts are working. You know, I'm giving it out to 10 people and nobody signs up. I don't know.
You don't know.
Who to follow up with.
No, I hear what you guys are saying. I just don't know if we can do it. I'm happy to see what we can do. But I do know the concern has been GDPR related.
Yeah, I'd be astonished if there wasn't a way to get around the GDPR constraint for internal use by Startup Grind as an entity. But so
if I could jump in for a second. The whole GDPR thing, I agree, it's a problem. But from a corporate perspective, if we're all operating under the corporate name of Startup Grind, then it could be made accessible, just not distributed, and you wouldn't violate any rules. But I'd like to ask a question going back a bit before we get too far along. Going back to April's theme, we had a discussion on our last call about trying to get a better idea ahead of time of what that theme is so that we can start inviting those panel members. We hadn't made any progress on that?
No. If I'm going to be totally honest, this is just not a priority for the team right now. Everything, and I don't mean to be so blunt, but like we are so focused on global that the specific event stuff just hasn't been, there's not been time for it.
I had a question too, going back to what you were talking about with the art assets. And again, I know this isn't global related, but just going forward, when we have the particular events that, the themed events that have a date, like the panel, if we could have either one without a date, so that for those, if we don't line up with, our guests for a particular topic aren't flowing, then we still have a graphic that we can use.
Yeah, so that's fine. I mean, May we can't do. May will always be.
Oh yeah, right. No, but I mean, but the less prominent ones.
Yeah, that's fine. For sure. And I'm not sure if there'll be a graphic yet coming out for the panel discussion. We can talk to Jenny, our graphic designer, about that. That's still TBD. We might not have anything for that one. There'll definitely be something for May, Female Founders Month. That's very big. If you guys don't already know, and if you can see, did all of you see the link to the 2019 year plan that I put in the chat? That'd be something to reference, and maybe some of our new chapter directors don't know about that. So this is something that we put out every year. We typically just try to have some guideline to help. We know that sometimes it can be overwhelming to be like, what should I have a topic on, and what's important here? What are global trends, or how do I find a speaker, or whatever? So we kind of do this high level plan for every year. And this year what's coming out is, let me pull it up here. Nothing for January and February, because it's like, as you can imagine, hectic over here. But we'll start with more themes in April. So April, you can do a panel if you'd like. You don't have to, but that'd be something to experiment with, see, how your communities like that, some sort of panel that we will try to be sharing the theme at Global. I know that's, probably not what you guys want to hear, but hopefully we can get you a theme by Global. Always, May is Female Founders Month, so if you can get a female founder, entrepreneur, inventor, somebody like that on the stage, it's a great time to feature female entrepreneurship. June is our Europe conference. So really right after we finish Global, a lot of the team is going straight into preparing for the Europe conference. Instead of a 2-day event, it's a 1-day event. Instead of like 200, 300 startups, there's about 100 startups. So it's all on just a bit of a smaller scale. Still a really amazing event. But hopefully if you guys can't come to Global, that you could make it to London in June. That would be awesome. And then July is the mid-year party. So, and you certainly don't have to have it in July. In Dayton, we had our mid-year party in September because that was our 3-year anniversary. So it doesn't have to be set in stone, to your point or your question, Liam. You can always, switch these around a bit. The party is just a great time to have, or if it's, it could be winter. Here it's finally summer for us, but for Vitor and Rafa and Santiago, that might be your winter party. Nevertheless, great time to get your communities together, celebrate how far your community has come, have a free event for people. Great. We had great turnout at our Dayton one this summer. September, similar to April, we're going to be doing workshops. So if you wanted to bring somebody in, instead of having a speaker with a fireside chat, maybe you have a speaker come in that can educate people on a topic, and that could be any topic that you think would be relevant to your community. Growth marketing hacks, or how to prepare for an investor meeting, or preparing their pitch, or whatever you think would be relevant for your startups. October, we want to do SG Live. So we know that for a lot of cities around the world, it's hard to get some of those big name speakers that, people can pull in New York and San Francisco and London. For some of us in smaller cities, that's harder to do. So we want to have our San Francisco chapter, our Silicon Valley chapter, they'll be putting on, getting a really big name speaker that everybody could stream. So this will be a live one. You could still bring all of your community together, but you won't actually have to find the speaker that month. It'll be live streamed directly from headquarters. And then November, we always partner with Global Entrepreneurship Week. So just having all of our events in that second week of November as we recognize and honor and celebrate that week of entrepreneurship. And then December is very similar to July. It's having an end of year party, another great time to bring your people together, switch it up a bit from the fireside chat. Sound good? Any questions?
I have a question to you, Candice, regarding the GPDR. Maybe it's because we are using a global tool, like when we enlisted the participants, like who gonna attend and so on. But I agreed to have a partnership with a co-working, so I'm hosting the events there. And then when you said about the workshops, works great for us. Like it's targets what I was bearing in mind. But this co-working is a part of a public building. They need to have it to comply with some information to offer the free space from the city hall itself. But they needed to say, fellows, we need the name, the ID numbers, and the email of these people, so they can regulate to be sure that they are official. You said that we our events we can see the email of the people, but I couldn't find it inside the platform. Or is this part of the GPDR?
It is. And we have had a lot of complaints from directors, especially that are not in Europe, because we know that this is really limiting what our directors have been able to do and how they can connect with their audience. We know it's a massive problem and we don't have a solution to work around it. So unfortunately, that is something that it's just been a pain in the butt for a lot of our other directors, having to comply.
What if we do like how can I say, Google Forms and then upload the information to the platform?
Sure.
It could work or not? Is a good option or not?
Like collect email addresses that way?
Yeah, and then later to fill the information that from you guys, like putting another step, maybe me or another co-director, we enlist people because we had like 14, 20 people that said that would come. And then okay, here is your invoice. You can pay the ticket, but also we also have your email because the place that we rented the area offered.
I mean, I think that could be a good workaround.
Something also that we had.
I think if you're doing that systematically, you're just breaking any GDPR compliance procedurally, right? So all you're doing is doing it off the books in an intentional way. So if you need to do a process to get people in the building, that's fine, but you can't.
You could still do that though. If you said, hey, by you signing up for this, if you give us your email address, we're using this as our partner, if you would like, we can sign you up for our newsletter. And they could click, as they're writing their name in and writing their email, if they say, sure, sign me up for that, and they click it or check it or whatever, there's no problem to upload it. I think you just have to cross your I's or whatever, dot your I's and cross your T's. But if you're like, hey, we won't do anything with this, and then secretly put it in, that's probably not, not legit. But I think you can easily get
something also that I'd like to ask you with you, Candace, is like here in Brazil, we have this challenge of Florianópolis itself. It's a seashore city, has a lot of beaches, a lot of events. Florianópolis is becoming like the new Silicon Valley in the southern hemisphere. And we have a lot of events at the same time and the same topic. And maybe something also that would be interesting, like we try to not ask a lot of money to people run away from the tickets. We are trying different prices, different days of the week to check. But I'd like to ask if to the older people in the startup grind, I'm not saying that you are old people, I'm saying that you have more startup grind time, that how does it work to find these sponsorships? For example, I was thinking maybe we could have a sponsor to pay a bill instead of the participants. How does
that can certainly work. There's so many things you can do with sponsorships and so many ways you can approach them. So some people try to get a sponsor so that they can give the tickets away for free. That's something you could certainly do. Most people don't. Most people try to have, still have the ticket price because you're getting reassurance of the people that sign up that those are the people you will in fact get there. Because sometimes when it's a free ticket, people say, sure, I'll come. And then if they don't feel bad about canceling it all. You've ordered food for 50 people, 20 people end up coming, you're out that food. So there still is a value in charging people for the events. And you end up getting higher quality people because they're willing to pay a price to get to your event. So you're getting the types of people you want there. But in terms of how you approach sponsors, everybody does it a little differently. So some chapter directors get sponsors just for one event, and they have found that to be very effective. That a sponsor only they want to be the sole sponsor for one event, and each month they're getting a different sponsor. That has not worked for me. That does not work for a lot of other directors where, it's a better use of our time and the sponsor dollars that we get to focus on multiple events, a minimum of 6 events, a minimum of 12 events. In Dayton, what I do is a minimum of 12. I don't want to be approaching sponsors every 3 months. That's so much freaking work. I have different tiers. So I could say you could be at the bronze level, the silver level, the gold level. But it is a year commitment. That's where you're going to get the biggest value. That's how you're going to connect to this community the most. We will be covering a lot more on sponsors during the Global Summit. And even if you can't catch the live stream, they will be recorded. So because we only have about 10 minutes left on that, I do want to hold on this because there'll be plenty of more information and tips and tricks and hacks coming from directors about how they've approached it.
Just a quite side question that just occurred to me. Like here in Brazil, we also have a lot of public money, like investment. The government is offering money to events. How can I say? Public sponsorships and so on. We also could use this kind of regulation to sponsor startup grind.
Yeah, South Africa has the same thing, and their chapters all over South Africa are taking advantage of it. Take advantage of whatever you can get in what your country or your city is offering. Dan, you had a question?
Yeah, it's really quickly. It ties into this whole sponsorship conversation, and I realize we're gonna be exposed to more of that later. But in conversations with the other chapters in the area, is there anything wrong with coordinating sponsorship for larger sponsors that would potentially have the reach through, say, 7 chapters?
No, I think it's a brilliant idea. And we'll also be talking more about that at Global. Again, South Africa is a great example that's trying to do that, leveraging sponsors across the entire country. But
that's what Chris and I had talked about through Maryland and Virginia about creating several tiers that would be local, regional, or state specific. So
I think it's brilliant. The more you can collaborate and leverage chapters around you, the better. For speakers, for sponsors, it just creates a stronger, it's the whole rising tide lifts all boats thing, I think it's brilliant. Any other questions about sponsors before we move on? Okay. So I also wanted to let you guys know the agenda for the conference, Back to Global, is live. See ya, William. I'm seeing that other people had to leave as well. They're already gone, but goodbye to them. That's the agenda for the conference, if you guys haven't seen it or want to check it out. Any questions on Global before we move on? Everybody's cool. Sweet. Okay. So
I have a question. Sorry, it took me a second to unmute. Did the chapter specific T-shirt stuff get lost on the cutting room floor? Because we talked about that.
No, that has stayed.
Okay.
That has stayed. We are working on creating. It's not complete, but we're definitely working on creating a Startup Grind store, so that even if you can't make it to Global, for those of you, because basically, if you guys haven't been to Global yet, we give out all of our awesome swag at Global to the directors that attend. For those that don't attend, there's a great deal of FOMO, fear of missing out, because you don't get those. You don't get the chapter-specific T-shirts. You don't get the awesome T-shirts that were designed. We've never given them out unless you've come to Global. But so many directors over the years have been like, what the heck? Not cool. So we've listened, and we've heard you, and we're creating this online store so that after the fact, it's not live yet, but should be live very soon. You guys can.
So we can sell swag as well. I couldn't understand this part.
No, you can't sell swag, but you can buy it and your attendees can buy it. Actually, that last part, don't quote me on that. It's definitely going to be for chapter directors to start. I don't know if we're going to be opening it up to attendees yet.
No, I mean, just like stickers, for example. I love stickers to have on my laptop. If you look at it, you're going to see a lot of stickers.
Yeah.
And then I think that it would be interesting. Like we had the Startup Grind for an office or Startup Grind around the world stickers to trade, and it would raise the money to the chapter as well.
You are welcome to do that with your own chapter. But in terms of Startup Grind headquarters, we won't be doing the chapter specific stickers and things like that.
Sure. But the T-shirts we're going to get are going to have our chapter name on them, you're saying?
No.
That's my question.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, we're not going to do that. But you can get them after the conference.
So we're gonna have to pay for that though, as a chapter director.
Yeah.
Even though we can't.
If you come to Global, you get them for free. If you can't make it to Global, you'll have to pay. But at least you can get them.
But
What if we pay for
People
shipping?
go there and buy one.
if you
Take
come to
one for me.
Global, I'm confused now. If you come to Global, you're not getting a chapter T-shirt. You're getting a Startup Grind T-shirt that's generic, right?
You got it, David. That's it.
Yeah. So either way, we have to pay for a chapter-specific T-shirt.
Yeah, but Gregory's talking about the Startup Grind ones. You will have to pay for those if you can't make it. If you come to Global, you get them. They're included. And you might even get, I don't know, a hat. Actually, I know this isn't, we're not doing that this year, but it's pretty legit. Maybe we can have that on the store. I'm not sure.
I definitely wanted one too.
I'll see what I can do, April. Okay. Any other questions on, yes, sorry, Sylvia. I misunderstood the question. We won't have chapter specific awesome t-shirts. My bad. Okay, so the list of startups that will be coming from your cities will be released soon. I know that Alex and my co-worker Finn are working on getting that all lined up for you guys, so that will be coming out soon. We also have our assets. So if you want to start, over the course of the next few weeks while you are at Global, even if you're not at Global, we've created some specific art assets for you guys to share after hearing this request from a lot of directors, wanting to help headquarters, help us spread the word and, show love for the conference. Ginny has made these available to all of our directors. So beautifully designed social media graphics that you guys can start pushing now or during the conference. Any questions? Okay, those are the main things, guys. So the 2019 year plan, if you haven't filled out the survey, I know you're going to do it right after this. It's going to be awesome. Global conference is the main thing over here. It will be the main thing for the next month for us. Obviously, the startup program stuff's coming out, but those are the main things. You guys want to talk about anything else? Questions, comments, concerns, ideas?
Candace, I sent you an email about this, but can you send me or post it there a link for the co-director application?
Yes, it's just startupgrind.com/start.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure.
And Candace, I have a request for this group. I'm working on a startup board diversity inclusion initiative. And if anybody in their market has a VC or a corporate that's working on a board inclusion initiative, I'd love to hear about it. And that doesn't have to be on this call, but.
So specifically connecting to corporates and VCs that are doing
Working on diversity formally.
Yeah, I know there's a number of chapters that are working on this just with their chapter, not necessarily with a corporate partner, but that might be something to bring up in Slack.
So, okay, so I'll put it on Slack, and if you know specific chapters that are doing something, I'd love to.
We are in
their direction.
We certainly have an date. I'd be happy.
All right. So
and I
I'll
think it's
call
really
you.
important. I think it's really
Yeah, I do too. I'll call you in your copious free time.
We can talk at Global.
You mean?
Yeah, no, we will talk at Global, and I'm happy to pour beers for anybody that's willing to talk on this subject.
Sylvia, you're going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, what you're referring to is that, like any organization, we're working with Girls in Tech. And they are really, really awesome. Really, really awesome.
We also have a lot of the.
Are they doing something on the board seat side?
No, well, Girls in Tech works differently. It's already a it's not non-profit. It is profitable, but it already has a social, objective focus in itself. So
the social enterprise.
So that's what they actually do. They dedicate themselves to inclusion. So So it's our whole purpose.
I think it'd be really awesome if you brought it up in Slack, just because I
All
think
right.
it's really important.
Yeah. All right. So I'll push it out. I'll push it out there. Thanks.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Done.
It's something we keep talking about at headquarters of like, how do we?
So I think I've cracked the code, or at least a way to move the needle. So we'll see.
Well, and I was just going to add to the conversation, if that's all right. Not specific in anyone. Well, I guess it is specific from a diversity perspective, the female and male dynamics in the workplace. And I have a background in providing training and facilitating conversations around sexual harassment and how to have those conversations in the workplace. So if that's of value, I'm happy to join the conversation and provide any perspective or help facilitate some of those conversations.
All right. So I'll send you what I'm doing. There's one piece that I'm working on. It's very early with SOSV on incorporating a sexual harassment, basically legal package into bringing executives on board so that they don't get the kind of Fox News $20 million exits when they get spanked. But that's only one aspect of the program. So I'd love to talk to you about it.
Absolutely. Be happy to.
And just so you guys are aware, we announced this a few office hours ago, but Startup Grind's we've been working on, and it's going through legal, our own harassment and anti-discrimination policy for all of our directors. Because we did have an incident with one of our directors to another director. That director was subsequently kicked out of Startup Grind. And we realized this is a really sensitive and important topic for our chapters around the world. So we are working on this. We have been working on it on the back end. It'll be something for all of you to sign and agree to be a chapter director, that you understand, our policy. Again, this will come out probably after Global, just because, yeah, you know the drill.
I just wanted to say, generally speaking, as one of the older, probably older in age as well as older in chapter age, I am available to help any new chapters, any existing chapters, even in terms of coming to East Coast, I would say probably mostly, but coming and speaking. So I would love to have conversations about that. I think Dave and I just began a little bit of a conversation about that, but I wanted to make myself, I had a really interesting year last year and got some elevation in several areas actually. And so I'm really wanting to share that, especially for directors that have been around for a little while and maybe kind of go through a valley. So I just wanted to put that out there as
Patrice. One thing I want to tell you, Patrice, based on a conversation you and I had at after our last office hours call, Patrice brought up a really great point of director fatigue. So for some of our directors that have been directors for 3-5 years, there's a period where it gets tough. You're like, you're tired, you're burnt out. And so that will be one of the topics that we're talking about during Global. The community team loved it. I talked to them about it afterwards. We think it's a really important topic that we don't talk enough about, how to overcome those times when it's tough. So we will be talking about that as well.
Awesome.
All right, guys, I recognize what time it is. I want to be respectful of your time. Thank you for being on here. Thanks for all your thoughts and your feedback and everything you're doing where you live. It's really important work, and we really appreciate all that you do. For those of you that are coming to Global, can't wait to frickin' see ya. For those of you who aren't coming, we're going to seriously miss you. But, we'll still be in touch, no doubt. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Candace, I'm going to reach out to you.
Sounds good, Patrice.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.